Welcome to Recovery Unfiltered. I'm Larry. I'm an alcoholic.
I am Rob. I am also an alcoholic. We are not professionals. There are no letters after our names. We know very little. However, you will hear the word God and a four-letter word in the same sentence. You will also be offended. So if you are easily offended, just pass us by. This podcast is not for you.
Our opinions are just that. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's okay. We're going to love you anyways. We are not in any way affiliated with AA.
So sit back, grab a beverage of your choice, and get ready.
Let's go. Hello, Rob.
Check, check. Hello, Larry.
Check. You were. I should turn you back on.
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah, you know me. I'll mute your ass right out.
I know.
So we had a great episode with Jason and Kim.
I want to point one thing out, though.
What happened?
I may be mistaken.
No.
But I'm probably not. There were not even trying. There were very little, if any, F-bombs. I know Jason and Kim didn't say one. I don't think you did.
I said two. And you know what's so funny is I consciously knew I said them too when I said them.
We weren't even trying. So to my sister, no, we're not trying. It just happened.
Here's the thing.
Organically.
This episode, I bet a lot more come out.
Because I've said it. I done jinxed.
No, it's not that. This one is a little bit more. That last one was very serious, right? You know, same way as when we had Brad and Grace in here. I mean, those and Mary and Matt, Mary brought out a lot of F-bombs in me because Mary's not real good about keeping her F-bombs straight. But I mean, I was just so into the story.
This was, I mean, really, I could tell there was. I didn't notice till the end. Hey, I did. I threw two out there, and it wasn't that I was throwing them out there. It went in as a comma is what I use them for. But no, so we're going to come back. I mean, I asked Jason and Kim, come back. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Thank you.
So I wanted them to come back because one of the things I talked about we talked about in the previous episode was what really connected me with Jason was, like I said, about a year into my sobriety when I first really got to know Jason in our Oakdale men's group. I want to let everybody know in our men's group, Jason comes in via Skype or comes in Zoom or comes in whatever way we come. Now that's stopped recently because
it just got to be too much
what
of a
happened and if you think about this, and I've been on where, even when I travel, I'll come in on Zoom or speakerphone or, we tried many different ways, but what's happened is that room has gotten so big to where it was 5 and 6 guys, right? And now is 18, 15, sometimes 20 guys sitting in there. And if you're on the other side of that, and I know what Jason's frustration, because I've hung up on it, right? I've been on it and hung up on it. The frustration gets there as you hear all that, you hear everything going on, right. and you can't, it's like, man, I can go to a local meeting. I mean, so Jason's doesn't come in as often. When he's home, he comes into the meeting physically. And it's just, but I got to know Jason through those Monday meetings or those Monday men's meetings. And I heard Jason one time talk about being complacent in our sobriety, right? Being complacent. And I'm going to read something, and I'm going to start this episode out, and forgive my reading, and you can all kiss my ass if I misspell a word or missay a word. So
I'll correct you. I'm sure.
I'm sure you will, you prick. Here we go saying the F-bombs again.
Prick is not an F-bomb. That's good. Well, prick is good.
Give me a minute. It's going to come out in me here in a minute. So here we go. On page 85, this is where it talks about
what step is this? 10.
God.
Go ahead.
This isn't a fucking test, Rob.
Go ahead.
We're here teaching, not testing.
People on.
This is Monday through Thursday. This isn't Friday. Fridays are for tests.
Are you going to read?
Fuck off. See, Tammy, there you go. There's your fucks again. I told you more F-bombs are going to come out in this one. On page 85, it just comes. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, nor are we avoiding temptations. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. This is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition, right? I want to preference that. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. We are really what What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of thy will. The will. Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, we have begun to sense the flowing of His Spirit into us. To some extent, we have become God conscious. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. But we must go further, and that means more action. And this, Jason, as I said before we started recording, this, what I wrote in my book right here came from Jason. He said this, and I don't think he remembers saying it, but we always have to stay fluid in our program, in our spiritual actions, fit spiritual condition. And, we say this, we've talked about it. People have heard us say, he wasn't very spiritually fit, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about that multiple times. And for me, when I travel, I have to stay spiritually fit because the temptation around me, temptation is probably not the word.
No, it's the word.
The opportunity that's around me, right? Because it doesn't tempt me anymore. I'm not tempted. The opportunity to drink is all around me, right? Company credit cards, company this, company events. The opportunities, in a hotel room by myself, in a flight by myself. There's absolutely no way anybody would ever know back home that if I slipped off and had a few drinks, just fuck it, right? There's where the fuck it's come in. I would, right?
Oh yeah,
I would, and I don't know if I could live with myself. I don't know.
It doesn't. No,
it would destroy me mentally and tear me down all apart.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason, I want to go back and have you kind of weigh in on this because about the 5th year mark for you is when I heard you speak those words. In fact, you were just getting ready to get your 5-year chip when I heard you say that. Talk to me a little bit about that and kind of where you were at in that.
Yeah. So I remember hearing in one of the Tracy Fellowship meetings, we don't see a lot of people that are between 5 and 8 years, 5 and 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of people up to 5 years, and
Right.
we see a lot of people after 10. And, I heard that early on and it really stuck with me. And I went, oh, geez, wow.
Right.
Well, I better start focusing on what all these old timers are saying that have the longer periods of sobriety. Right. And so I did. And, as time went on, I started hearing these stories, these horror stories, which are, I think, all of our fear.
Right.
About one guy in particular that was also at that fellowship had 42 years. He went out and he drank.
At 42 years?
At 42 years. He was on his deathbed. He just said, F it, I'm going to do it. He did it one time, came back to the rooms and had one day of sobriety. And I went, okay, well, why did he do that? And I asked him, after the meeting why he did that. And he goes, I had no reason. I just did it. So I really don't know where he was at. I don't think I remember seeing him after that day. So maybe he was, diagnosed with something pretty heavy and he was just ready to roll on out. But it made me realize that that's a real threat.
Right.
Dude's got 42 years.
Right.
I mean, at the time I was working on 5, and I'm thinking, there ain't no way. I don't want it to happen. I'm going to do everything I can for it to happen. And I'm going to be thoughtful that I've heard this statement that we don't have a lot of people in this range of sobriety. Right. And so again, that was kind of early on when I heard it. As I went to other meetings and heard other people talk, I kept hearing horror stories that related to it. Right.
Right.
Being complacent, getting busy at work, not making it to meetings, and then going out. And then a lot of these people I have 3 instances that I'm thinking of right now that they went out. One went out 3 times, and he said every time he came back, he had a lower low.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Progressive.
that was exactly my thought. I'm like,
Progressive.
oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Because when you realize where you left off at,
Right.
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 Oh,
And and so another instance, I remember hearing a woman talk about how, she was relieved of the want or the thirst for alcohol when she quit. She had 6 years of sobriety. She went out, and when she decided that wasn't for her, she came back. That urge was there. So she had the first time she was
urge was gone.
The urge was gone.
Right.
She went out and came back. The urge was there, and she was fighting it for months. I remember many meetings of her crying, saying, I can't get rid of it. I can't control it. She had control. So those 2 things, I'm thinking, man, lower low,
Right.
coming back, having to fight that urge,
that obsession.
I don't want that,
No.
so it really hit home for me that I need to come up with a plan. As you know, I'm a check mark guy.
Oh, yeah.
I got to have a plan. I got to write it down, and I got to execute, so that's when I really started focusing a lot on, I think I was doing it the whole time, but I didn't know that I had a regime,
Right.
where I would get up at a certain time every day. I would read the big book. I would read Grapevine.
Right.
Then I would take off and get some exercise, in which I utilized for meditation and praying and having conversations with my higher power.
Right.
Right. And so that is that is an extremely important part of my day every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't hit one of those items or one of those steps, at some point during the day, I'm going to catch it and go, oh, geez, I didn't follow my plan.
Right.
I can see myself falling off here.
Right.
And this is on a daily occurrence. Right. So this is something that I'm always trying to keep track of. But so that's kind of, in a nutshell, complacency for me.
And what you said there was something that as recently I caught myself doing, and we literally just talked about this, is that I would, 5:30, I got to be up, right? I read 15 minutes of the Bible. I read 15 minutes of the big book. I have 15 minutes of the Grapevine or another book. I had those check marks just like you. And at 6:30, I woke my wife up, got her ready for work, made my breakfast. I had my checklist, and by God, don't you fucking interrupt that, right? You do not interrupt that whatsoever. Something comes in and interrupts that. That's kind of what I was preferencing a lot of my day. And this is my sick brain at work, right? That I was preferencing my day and how my day would go based on those steps that I was doing of a morning. I recently found out that's a bunch of hog shit.
You were giving those more power than God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was just a bunch of bullshit.
I was going to throw in another thing that I've heard in these rooms is, don't forget that you can always start over again, no matter what time of day it is.
Hold on. Stop.
Yeah, here we go.
Well,
no, I want to hear his answer.
Okay, no, but that's why, because I always ask this question when someone brings that up.
Yeah.
Jason, because everybody's got different. How do you start what are the actions you take to start your day over?
Well, I don't think that I've ever put myself in that position.
Awesome.
Okay. But I could see it instantly led me down that road, because I could see Larry being distraught if he was interrupted.
Right.
And I can also see myself going, okay, hey, listen, it's okay to have these interferences. Let's deal with them as they come and move on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I related to it.
I got you. And one more thing for people who want to know, the 5 to 8 to 10 year range. I'm not saying that blessings don't come in AA or in this program when you start this journey with God, because they absolutely do, because you're blessed.
Right.
But the 5 to 8 usually is when the life gets really good, like where you guys it gets really good, and then the big 3. They quit working with others, or they quit fellowshipping. They quit talking to God. They quit going as much. And eventually the spiritual fitness goes away, and then a drink sounds good.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. When at that period when I spoke to you, you weren't being involved as much as you thought you should be, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Is that when you just headed to Monterey?
No, he'd been over there for a little bit.
Probably been over there for a little
Yeah.
bit. But honestly, because of all these things we just spoke about, I don't know if I'm ever active enough. You know, that's where I feel
about that
all the time.
back.
I'm like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I haven't hit 5 meetings this week. You know, I haven't talked to someone. I haven't called Rob. That's the one thing that I struggle with. I've never shared with Rob, but I know Rob is my sponsor. I should be giving this guy a call,
Right.
checking in.
Fuck
I
Rob.
think he knows, you know, just from the communication that we have, that I'm doing all right. But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm up at 3. You know, I got my regime. I don't want to get fucked with either. Right.
Right.
And so the day goes on and I'm like, man, if I call him, am I going to be bugging him?
Right.
He knows. So, I mean, it goes as minimal as that to I'm not hitting enough meetings. So to answer your question, I was probably in that mindset then, because I'm there in that mindset often.
Right. You were, because I remember you talking about that. And that's why I wrote in my book, Always Stay Fluid, right? And that's Jason. So I'm constantly trying, but I find myself even today, right? Because I am a lot of that regime kind of thing. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I want to listen to something real fast. And the reason why I'm breaking this down is because recently this became highlighted to me when I listened to this section right here.
I don't know if I'm living sometimes or if I'm doing a to-do list. And then I don't know whose to-do list it is sometimes. I don't know if it's my own things that I want to be doing. Is it things that I feel like people want me to be doing? Like, whose expectations am I living up to? That's what I wonder sometimes.
So when I heard that, because I was going down my checklist, right? And I came around. That was Theo Vaughn, who, a lot of you know him as a comedian, but he's a recovering drug addict. I mean, he's got some great stuff, and he's a hell of a speaker. I've listened to him, and he brings a lot of comedy into the recovery side, but he doesn't talk about it a lot unless he actually been approached to it. But when I heard him say those words, I'm like, yes, that's how I feel sometimes, is that I'm just doing a fucking to-do list. And whose to-do list am I really fucking doing? Do I really want to be up at 5:30? Do I really want to do that? Is that really what's keeping me fucking sober? It's not. It's really not, right? It's not. I'm keeping myself sober by keeping my connection with God.
So, okay.
And keeping my connection with
So who's
you.
keeping you sober?
God is.
Thank you.
Yeah, God's keeping me sober.
Right.
These books aren't keeping me sober.
But in a relationship, which is what we're in with God, that's what these steps are to open up that door.
But that's what I'm saying. Let me finish that. There ain't no reason why I need to be up at 5:30, right? No, I mean, I like being up early. Because that's my time. I enjoy that. But guess what? I give up the time laying with my wife and having a conversation with my wife. I give up that time for what? To do what? When I first got sober, I said, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. I don't have to do a fucking thing but pay taxes and die. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I want to do that? I do, right? I do enjoy getting up and reading. I do enjoy doing those things I do. But if I don't do them, I'm not going to have a bad day. I'm not. I'm really not. I find myself able to lay and sleep until 7:30 now. Mm-hmm. I've never been able to do that. Ever been able to do that. As long as I can remember. I did not get out of bed yesterday until 7:30. I can't even tell you last time I did that. I can't. You know why? Because that to-do list in my head, it's not there. I turned it over. And
you're growing.
But this program is getting me to that, right? This program's getting me to that, to where, you know what? I'm active. I stay very fluid. I'm working with the jails. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But you know what? Those are the things I want to do. Mm-hmm. That's the shit I want to do. I want to help somebody else recover. I want to give somebody else what I have. It's up to me to do that. And if that means I get up at 5:30 and I feel like I'm dragging ass a little bit and I'm not being very spiritually fit, okay, I'll get up. I need to get back in the book a little bit. I need to get in here. I need to do those things. But now it's my to-do list. It's shit I need to do. I was getting up at 5:30. I was doing that because I heard other people say they were doing it.
And you thought, if I don't do that,
Right.
the obsession might come back. I got to do these.
Right.
March like
That's my point.
But let me jump in there really quick. That was something that you decided to do, and that was your time frame. What I'm hearing is, and I want to kind of crosstalk. We can't just throw that to the side and say, F it, we're getting rid of that part because I don't want to do it. It needs to come in at some point during your day.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be at 5:30. It makes no matter. And one thing that I love to say is thank you, God, for listening to me no matter what time of day or night that
Or what I'm doing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's up to you to do it, but it needs to be done to keep your spiritual fitness.
100%, Jason. And that's yes, 100%. But if I don't do it at 5:30 in the morning, if I find 10 or 15 minutes later on, and when I got a couple minutes, hey, you know what? Let me see what today's daily reflection is. Let me see what today's 24 is. Let me get to that. You know what? Shit. Let me take a minute here and pray let me talk to my Lord for a few minutes. Now, what I do is and it's just because it's become such an embraced habit for me, is I will spend time with my Lord as I'm having my cup of coffee, right? That is something that I have to do. That gives me my peace. That gives me to say thank you. And to say thank you for everything he's done for me. Not asking for anything, just saying thank you, right?
And sometimes it's good to shake things up a little bit.
Right. And the rest and the peace of mind that I've been getting since I've listened to Theo say that, and I'm sure he's heard it from somewhere else. I don't know, but it hit close to me because whose to-do list are you truly doing, right? Whose to-do list?
No, great question, right?
It's supposed to be God's will. Aren't we supposed to? It's kind of like what you just read. It's the proper use of the will,
right? Is
to align ours with His for the day as best we can. But and Jason touched on it. And if you were constantly in the moment doing the next right thing, which we knew what it was then, we just didn't have the power to execute.
Right.
But we do now. We still know what the right thing is to do, and the more we execute that,
right,
the more freedom we're going to have, the more peace we're going to have because we're in tune with Him.
Right. Right. And it's allowed more peace is what I think what I'm trying to get to.
Well, and giving you more freedom. I don't have to stay so regimented in this box.
Right.
Because God's not in a fucking box.
Right. No.
He's free. I mean, He is everywhere and anything. Exactly.
Anywhere I am.
On a run with Jason on the beach.
Right. Go ahead, Kim. You don't have to raise your hands, hon. We're not.
I know. I feel like a
No.
My thought is that it's helpful in the morning to get started that way, I believe. But the point of it all is to bring that throughout your day. Those feelings of God and knowing your inner being and awareness. And that's what's hard, is to keep going. And, of course you get through breakfast and you've already sworn, or you already, gotten mad about something or whatever. And then you got, okay, like Jason says, we start over.
Right.
Start it up. So that's where I'm trying to get to, is throughout the day, you're still aware. Throughout the day, you're thinking about God and your being and stuff like that. And so,
Do you have a routine you like to do? Do you have something that kind of gets your mind going in the right direction? And if something happens, how do you kickstart it back in the direction you want to go?
I've gotten, I think, in a rut. And as we're talking about it here, is that, but I mean, I've started exercising in the morning, enjoy that very much. And then I will listen to some podcasts and actually YouTube videos and stuff like that. Through my readings, I've come across Eckhart Tolle, Esther Hicks. I know that's a different one, but they're all pointing to the same thing, but they're just giving you different tools. Dr. Joe Dispenza, I've definitely listened to him as well, and then he's more scientific about things. But I like that too. So anyway, I do, and then so silly, but I bring my Eckhart Tolle book. There's one here that I have brought with me. This is a new one. Along with me. And so during work, I will reach over to my desk and touch it and just try to, for a second,
connect,
because I've gotten away from it. You're just constantly in work and you're trying to get it done, but just a moment of like, okay, get back to your inner peace, your inner being, your
moment of something.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to add.
I appreciate that. Like I said, I wanted to go through that and talk about that because, like I said, that's been a change for me. And I think so many people, especially when I first got into recovery, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. I heard that by some old timers that say, well, you better do this, you better do that, you better do this. So I wanted to stay sober so bad. And then, like I said in the very beginning, if Rob and Chris, those guys would have told me to go stand on the freeway and count cars, I'd have stand on the fucking freeway and counted cars if that's what was going to keep me sober. And I'm still that way to this day. Am I as locked into that? No, I'm not, because now I have God that guides me a little bit closer than what I had there. You know, my relationship with God has grown so much more than when I first got into this, that I don't rely on Rob no more than he relies on anybody else.
Well, the book says our reliance now is upon a higher power.
You know,
we lean on each other, but like you said when we were here with Doug, there are times when, because Jason and I are really a lot alike. Whenever he speaks, the rest of us do shut up, but I always do, because
I do.
That's what God speaks to me through my brothers a lot of the times.
Oh yeah.
If I'm working on something, or I'm working on a problem, or I'm praying about it, I listen, because he speaks to my brothers. Oh, there's the answer I want. Thank you, Father, and off I go.
Right.
So he uses people, but he is the power. He is, and as you grow where you are, your regiment will change. For 5 years, I got in a bet with some old guy, and I have it right here. It's on. Yeah.
How much?
I might have a couple. Bet? I might have a couple of things to say about this.
No, it says bet. So 5 years. So he said, with the problem, it was step 11. Oh, it's over here. Bet with Big James, 5 years, Rob. He bet me, upon awakening, and when we retired at night, it was after the meeting at Primary Purpose. He goes, "Hey, young man, I was 2 years sober. I'll bet you I can do that." It was just a challenge from an old timer. He did it for 2 days or 2 weeks. We had a $5 bet. For 2 weeks, he did that from word for word. He did it, and I did it for 5 years. And I bet you money that a lot of the foundation that I stand on today comes from doing that very thing.
Everything. For
5 years in the morning. And it just grabbed my book. After a while, I don't have to grab the book.
Right.
I just recite it. But
you lost me on that. What you're doing? What are you doing? Reading
step 11. Step 11 is actually upon awakening. You do whatever's said, and then when we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Where we just ask you. There's about 13 questions.
Okay.
If I do more inventory at night and how you. So I started my day and ended my day on page 86 and 87 for 5 years.
Okay.
That's how I did it.
So yeah, I
changed.
I just wanted to jump in, because there were some things, not to rebut, but to rebut. We got to be careful, because what we're doing. Well, listen, this is just my opinion. I don't know shit about shit.
All this is
but
it is.
We need to be careful, because as we're young in this program and young in our sobriety, we are reaching out for those things that are going to help us to get sober, whether it's counting cars or doing whatever our sponsor or any old timer is saying, right? So let's not forget those things that we started up as our regime that got us to where we're at now.
Absolutely,
because
Jason.
they work.
So 100%.
So we got to be careful with that.
Right.
I want for those out there listening,
right.
like, it's not an ever changing process. I think for me, it works well to have something that I can, look forward to, that I can count on, to understand that this is my time to do it, and to move on, and to always remember the things that got me to where I'm at today. And I can always add on to that, but I'm quick to be nervous about taking away.
Yes. So when I first stopped stressing about being up at 5:30, the first couple days, I don't want to go ahead.
You're just old, dude. 5:30 is not that early, bro.
Yeah.
It's not?
No.
Not in our household. Yeah.
5:30 is early live. I'm in bed by 9:30. So, anyways, that 5:30, when I stopped stressing about that and stopped stressing about that, I knew there's still certain times where and I said that I need to read that. I haven't read that in a while. Let me go back, and on the side of my chair downstairs, I have my big book and my Bible sit in a little basket, and I'll either pick the Bible up some days, I'll pick up my big book some days. It just really does depend on what I do. I still get up of a morning, go sit in there and have my coffee, but there's sometimes I'll sit there and go through Facebook, go through Instagram, look at the podcast, see how the it doesn't really matter. This morning I was starting to get up. Katie had made me a cup of coffee and I came over there and sit down, and my ADHD brain just took off. I started to walk away and my wife just brought me a nice fresh cup of coffee. And I'm like, wait a minute, I need to sit down and enjoy my cup of coffee. Those are the things when on the prior episode, we talked about being in the now, right? Those are the things that I'm working on for me. My sobriety is the podcast, the H&I, the making sure the meetings. I'm working with Chris. I got a lot going on, not as much as Rob does with his sponsorship, but I have a lot going on, and that's what keeps me sober. That's what keeps me. But what keeps me happy, right? That's the thing that is key to me in this sobriety. I'm sober, right? I'm gonna stay sober. There ain't no doubt in my mind I'm gonna stay sober. I ain't going backwards. But my serenity and my peace and my happiness, what
feeds that?
What feeds that, right?
I want to rephrase probably because what keeps you sober is God.
Yes.
What keeps you happy, joyous, and free, that's going to be flowing.
Right.
And it's going to change. Like it's funny that we just talked about that today because I made a decision year 2 through 5 or 2 through 7. I did this every night. And then I didn't, and other things. But I'm feeling myself getting up and rushing work. I mean, because I'm up before 5:30. So I decided Thursday, after I was working with another guy, I'm going to go back and do this. I mean, even though I can do it from mind, I got a brand new book, which the only time I'm ever going to take it out. It doesn't have all this on it.
It's crazy.
And I decided Thursday, so I decided Monday morning, which is tomorrow, I'm going to grab this brand new book and pick it up like I used to do and read and just be in God and just read and do it just to refresh and just to change it up and get back to.
Right.
And you'll find new stuff.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's why I'm grabbing a new book. I don't want to see all these.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to be fresh, but I need to go back.
Right.
To go ahead.
Right.
So
I want to bring something up because when I first started working through these steps a little bit, and I'm gonna drag on Rob here for a minute because he used to say, I hate that word in there.
Maintenance.
God damn it, you're a premature ejaculator. Will you fucking wait?
Hey, that's in my 4-step. That stays between us,
dude. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance
growth
of our spiritual condition.
Yes, I don't like that word. I don't want to maintain anything. I want to grow.
Okay.
I don't want to because maintenance.
Stale.
I understand what they mean, but I understand what he means. You don't want to maintain. You want to keep your car maintained. I don't want my spirituality to be maintained. I want to grow. That's why I crossed it out. I love the big book, but I crossed it out for me.
Right. So, I argued with that for a long time. Not argued, but I disagreed with you for a long time. Only because maintenance to me is staying.
And some people see it that way. I don't.
But now I know looking back on this, because I also wrote growth underneath that. But now when I read that.
And that's growth.
Right. And that I agree with you, you fucking hobbit. That contingent on the growth of our spiritual condition. But that goes back to what I said a minute ago, right? Where is my happiness and my serenity and my peace? Because I tell people this all the time. Sobriety, being sober to me is not even in the cards for me anymore. Sober is just going to happen for me. I'm not going to ever drink again. Sober is sober. But I work on.
But there are levels of sobriety that.
Thank you,
Rob. Where you're going.
Right. And that's where I was headed is I know, and Kim, this is going to be a great question for you. I know when my sobriety, not my drink, my sobriety, my peace, and my serenity is not good. Katie recognizes it immediately.
Get a little restless, irritable, and discontented.
Yeah. And it's because I got something that I'm not doing right. Something's not right. And typically a meeting will solve it, right? Typically a reading will solve it. Typically talking with Jason or talking with Rob or talking with Doug or talking to one of my brothers will resolve it. Sometimes I have to go down the list. I'll call Michael. I'll call Rob. I'll call Doug. Call Jason. None of those guys solve this problem. Let me call somebody else.
Kim, right? It's probably because none of us co-signed his bullshit.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not only that. It goes back to something. Just something ain't clicking.
Yeah.
Something's not.
But for you, and me too, talking it.
Oh yeah,
helps.
No.
Just getting it out. Getting it out and just look at it.
I got to break it out. I got to get it out on paper. And sometimes I don't know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't. You know, I'm working through something right now that is a major life decision for Katie and I, and fuck, I don't even give a shit about it anymore. I really don't.
But
right?
sometimes we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and it's okay to be there.
Right. And I'm just like, what if it happened? It's there. And I heard somebody say this the other day that, you know, I just put it out in the universe. If it happens, it happens. I'm like, you fucking, because my control freak brain, right? I'm like, no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. There's certain things you still have to, you know, you got to do, make sure this. But I honestly have with this. I put it out there and let it go.
Let God have it.
I mean, what? I ain't got no control over what happens over it. I have nothing to do with it.
But think of the freedom that comes from that.
Oh my God. The amount of freedom I have from that, Rob, right now is that I don't let it affect my job. I don't let it affect Katie and how I treat Katie. I don't let it affect how I treat my kids. I don't let it affect anybody, right? I'm able to carry on through the day and not even think about it. And when the conversation comes up, then the conversation comes up. Then we talk about it. And when the conversation's over, I don't think about it.
And when it comes
anymore.
up, that's the next right thing to do. That's the next right thing to work on. If
I just don't.
And that's growth.
Right.
That's all it is. That's all, which is awesome.
Right.
And with God, with this process, it's a relationship.
Yeah. So what you said a little bit ago, Jason, I wanted to bring back up.
You were going to ask her a question.
Oh, she answered it.
Oh.
Yeah, she answered it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? My bad. I saw her over shaking her head, and that to me wasn't it. Can you tell when Jason's getting that way?
I can.
Yeah.
He's very heightened, irritable sometimes, and is quick to switch back to
my old ways.
The old ways.
Uh-huh.
And then does she ever say, like Bonnie says, I think you need a meeting. You going to go to a meeting tonight? You have a meeting
I beat
planned?
her to the punch most often.
Yeah, he looks at my face. He knows.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just let him.
But that's awesome relationship to have.
Yeah.
Katie recognized it right away.
And he probably recognized. I don't know if I have telltale signs of I'm stressing out or not, but I usually let him know. You know.
Right.
So.
Oh, I know what Katie is. It's easy to know what Katie is. But here's the thing about it, and I don't feel bad. It just, for us in the program, we know what we can do, right? Mm-hmm. We know this is going to resolve the problem. If that doesn't, another one will. Something we know that. But when you're stressed, Kim, do you rely on Jason to help you with that?
I do. He's my go-to.
Right.
But
that's
definitely,
your meeting.
Yeah, and
right.
but I also
if I can just interrupt,
yes,
I don't think she relies on me, but she definitely uses me as a soundboard.
For sure. Yeah.
She likes to be able to vent or run things by me, and most times I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
Seriously, most times I'm like, all right, I'm going to fix this. Instead of just all she really wants is me to listen. And I know we've all heard this as being husbands, that we need to think about it. And it's so true. I'm getting a lot better.
Yeah. That's Katie actually just, is this something you want me to help you fix, or do you just want me to listen?
And Brad has a good point. Right. That's one of Brad's tools. He'll ask his wife before before Grace says it, do you want me to fix this or just listen?
Right.
And she'll say, just listen.
Right.
Then the ground rule is set. The groundwork is set, and then just listen.
I interrupted.
We could try that. I did.
Yeah.
But I do. I want to hear sort of the fix as well. It's like a weird, I want to hear both of it because
well, then say listen at first, and then give me your input.
I'll tell you when to speak.
I'll tell you when to stop.
Yeah. When I do this,
that's
enough.
Katie actually said for the first time the other day, she goes, "Thank you for just listening. I needed that."
Yeah.
That's the first time she said it, because
big step right there.
It was huge for me because she knows in the back of my mind, my head's exploding.
Oh yeah.
I did want to say is that him going through this and getting well spiritually and everything has really helped me do that myself. So I can depend on myself more instead of depending on him, going to him and expecting something from him.
Right.
So it's definitely changed that dynamic. So.
And you have a walk with the Lord yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you hesitated there.
She's walking.
Yeah, very much.
She has
it. Yeah.
She has her walk.
It's different than probably you're thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, here's something else. Hold on a second.
Living with a woman's like being in AA. My friends asked me, how's it going with that girl? It's one day at a time, man. I didn't say anything wrong today, but I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Hi, my name is Adam, and I'm a boyfriend. It's been 6 months since my last decision. I felt the urge to have an opinion the other day, but thank God my sponsor came over and we sat down till that feeling went away.
You know, it's funny. I love it's Adam Ferrara. And every time I hear that, I've heard that before, it cracks me up. And I don't know why I wanted to bring it up today. I brought it up just to lighten the whole thing up, right? Because, you know, but you think about that is we in this AA, right? We have opinions all the time. And you know, as well as I do, my opinions are better than anybody else's on the road. I don't give a shit.
I concur.
I don't give a shit what you think. My opinion's the only thing that matters.
I begin to rewrite the book based on your opinion. So
I've rewritten that book 19 times. Bill Wilson had no idea what he was doing if he'd have just listened to me. But those opinions that I have create the resentments, right? Create those resentments. Some little hobbit that follows me around. And those are the things that, you know, we go back to when we say, you know, that's that control, that opinion. And it's very difficult to get rid of those things that I have. And I'm going to say the older I get in sobriety, I like that. The older I get in sobriety, the easier those opinions are for me to swallow, right? And keep to myself, because you know what? It is just my opinion. They don't mean shit, right? I don't know the right way to do half the shit that I get asked in work life, right? I get asked this and that. What do you think here? What do you think here? And I'm like, I don't know. Fuck, it's just my opinion. I'll give it to you, but that and a cup of coffee, it'll get you a cup of coffee. So it don't mean anything. Whether it's right or wrong, I have no idea.
That's called humility.
Right. You know, and it's the older we get, like I said, the older we get in sobriety.
You hope that's what
well,
comes.
If we stay, like I said.
It's supposed to be. Wisdom and discernment should come with age and experience. Right. Not always.
Right. But that's still going back to what we talked about right here. If we stay in spiritually fit condition, right?
And how do we do that? Because on the page, because Jason breaks down 164, awesome. But the page before that tells us how we maintain our day on the daily.
Right.
And how we do that. And that's the page that I break down.
What is that list of things?
Right here. It says this thought. This is after you've worked your night step, right? On the initial time, you've done your steps to the best of your ability. You went and cleaned up your side of the street. You made amends to whoever you could. Wrote your letters. You've cleaned up, and it says, this thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. We vigorously commence this way of living as we cleaned up the past. We have entered the world of the Spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime.
I like it.
Continue to watch for resentment, selfishness, dishonesty, and fear. We learned about those words in the 4th step.
Right.
When these crop up, Kim, not if, when these crop up, right, we ask God to remove them at once. That's step 6 and 7, remove the defects of character, right? We discuss them with someone immediately. That's step 5, confession. And make amends quickly if we harmed anybody. That's steps 8 and 9. And we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and appreciation for others is our code. So if I'm practicing my 10th step throughout step 12, so if I'm practicing my 10th step throughout the day, I have the opportunity to do steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 12. That's how I stay in fit spiritual condition daily. Mm-hmm. If I piss someone off, if I wrong someone, eat crow, eat it hot right then. Mm-hmm. Now, step 11 gives us an opportunity at night and in the morning. Okay, I missed this or I missed that, to kind of do some more. But that is how we daily stay in. And if we're doing that, if we're really doing that, which I mean, because I'm intentional about everything that I say. I'm intentional about all my relationships with my children, with my wife, with Larry, with Jason. I'm always setting up something for later. And if I'm doing that, conducting myself that way, it's hard to get complacent. It's hard to get, you still can get into self, absolutely, because we're human. And we have to, like Larry's, as he's growing, we have to leave room for humanity. 100%. We're human. You know,
where did you read that at just then, Rob?
Page 84.
That's what I thought.
Right.
Jason, I know that you do these steps. Is this something that you cognitively do like every day? You've told me this, and this, and I mean, I know that you have the regiment, but is that
So great question.
I know you're right there.
So like steps 10, 11, and 12 are what we want to live on a daily basis now.
Okay.
Getting there, we have to go through steps 1 through 9.
Okay.
Right. And that's kind of getting our side of the street clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting everything out. That's getting on the right track. And then 10, 11, 12 is what keeps us maintained.
The growth, they call them the growth
growth.
steps.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Those are the ones that when you go into the grocery store and you got a real dummy behind the cash register, right? Those 10, 11, 12 are the ones that, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the ones that keep me from losing my mind and telling her just what I think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if he does tell her what he thinks
Right.
about her, that also gives you, the 10th step is also what we use to go back. Hey, please forgive me.
Right.
That behavior I just
Mhm.
displayed was incorrect. I'm sorry. I will make, we make it right.
Yeah.
And it's happened
Immediately.
multiple times
Immediately.
with me. It's
If
happened.
not, when your head won't be hitting the pillow
No.
because that will bother you. It should.
Right.
I was probably, and I probably have told this story on here before, I was probably about 10, 11 months sober, and I was at Home Depot one day and just in a hurry, but I had shit to do. And the girl behind the counter was just being completely not right. And I just lost it. And I said some very ugly old Larry things. And man, you want to talk about immediately that remorse of what I just said just flooded into me. And I literally said, ma'am, you did not deserve an ounce of that. And she's like, well, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. Nobody should be spoken to.
Then
like,
yelled at her again.
Nobody should be spoken to in that manner. That was uncalled for.
Wow, what a growth moment. Wow.
It was immediately.
That's
And I mean,
amazing.
and I still find myself to
How
this
free?
day-
How free do you want to be?
Right.
That's the question.
Right.
How free do you want to be
Right.
throughout your day?
And she's learning something at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't treat me like that,
Right.
know,
Yes.
or you
That
know,
was-
She shouldn't be
Yeah.
treated. That's not okay. Nobody should be spoken to the way my sharp ass tongue come running out that day. Most of my resentments, and I've went back to this, most of my resentments was because of my tongue. Right.
And not in a good way.
No, my tongue I would literally make you feel like you don't belong on the face of the earth. And I was very good at it. Right. I mean, I say this all the time to people around me at home. My work, Larry, and my home, Larry, is two different people. Used to be, right? I'm a little different now. I mean, thank God I'm different now. But my work, Larry, if you don't rate up to my level up in here, you're trash to me, and I don't have time for you. So most of my amends was that, right? Going back to that, cleaning that shit up. We just talked here the other day that was talking to somebody on the phone, just chit-chatting. And he was like, he said something, we were going to be at a conference. I can't wait to buy you a drink. No, man, I don't drink anymore. And I kind of told him what the thing. He's like, dude, do you remember that time at the WPMA? And I'm like, dude, no, I don't remember that. And let me tell you something. And I had to there was another man that I didn't even have a memory of something I'd said to him.
And I never had a blackout that
I wasn't blacked out.
I know, but
I just didn't give a shit enough to remember it, right? I didn't. And because I don't see the guy every day. It's somebody I just seen every couple of years or something at a conference, right? And I'm like, dude, you didn't deserve that.
But share this one. I'm going to bring up something we're going to bring it up. Somebody at work just reached out to you recently and said they've been listening to this.
Huh?
Larry, you need to show more of what you hear here at work.
Yeah.
There's still work to be done in the work, Larry.
Yeah, because like I said, what you guys see here and what is shown at work is not always the same person.
Sponsored by being a prick.
Here we go. And my boss that I answer to, he says, Larry, you're like a whirlwind. You come flying in and you go flying right back out, right? You don't slow down enough.
Don't see nothing wrong here, Ma.
Right.
Ain't it grand the wind stop
right.
blowing?
I'm in, I got my shit done, I'm gone, right? And I'm just that way. And that goes back to what I said earlier, is that to-do list, right? The to-do list, being in the now, all that stuff that I'm trying to get embedded into my life now, because once again, I'm not working on that sobriety, right? I'm not working on that sobriety thing. because of my peace and my serenity that I have is going to take care of that sobriety thing, because I don't need that sobriety thing. Well, let me be very careful, cautious.
Top of page 64.
Yeah. My sobriety is going to be taken care of as long as I keep my peace and my serenity inside of me, because the reason why I drink, my alcoholic type, was I was drinking to get peace and serenity, right? I was drinking to feel that I feel now, right? I get it now, but 10 times is more, right? The peace and serenity I have now, I get it even more because now I have the respect of my wife. I have the love of my wife. I have the love of my kids. I have the love of that. I would have never gotten that with alcohol, right? And so that's something that I say this all the time. That
we maintain that stuff by living this life.
Interesting that you said there was a type of alcoholic. Is there different types?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You'll hear that quite a bit. Alcohol.
Go to page 30. You should read the book. Right. Go to page 30. He'll break down 5 types. There's 5 types.
Jason shares. And
the doctor's opinion has 5 types, and then more about alcoholism. Actually, chapter 2 is their solution. Mm-hmm. Chapter 3 more about alcoholism. Bill breaks it down to 3 or 4.
Okay.
The certain type of hard drinker, the moderate drinker.
The funny thing is, and I shared this in our Monday night group. I read through that so many times, and at the very end of the last time I read it, I didn't know which type I was, because I was all the time.
Yeah, we fit. Yeah.
I was like, I fit every one of those,
right?
So, but I guess you could key in on it, because prior to that, I had been in my mind that type or this type, 2 different types,
right?
But in actuality, again, going back to this is progressive.
Right.
I think if you look at it, you could pinpoint yourself at some point in your alcoholism as to one of those types.
Okay.
So
I may have gotten to the
depends on when you found your way out.
Right.
Okay.
I may have eventually gotten to the blackout portion of it, but luckily my moment of clarity, I say it that way. And and the reason why I say alcoholic of my type is because I like to isolate myself by calling myself the alcoholic. When I say that, that's why I say alcoholic of my type.
So he doesn't broad brush everybody.
Right. I don't want to. I don't want to say all alcoholics. When I say it, that's when I say alcoholic of my type. Right. Me. When my moment of clarity, and I call it my moment of clarity. Right. When that happened, it wasn't my desire to have a drink was gone instantly. Instantly, it was gone. Not even a remote thought.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even a remote thought of it.
Okay.
Never had a,
Now, to his point, had we not took action on that and start to deal with the isms,
right?
The alcohol is removed. If you don't deal with the isms, the alcohol will come back.
Right. The desire will come back. Yeah.
Okay.
But I just that obsession was gone. Do I know what'll happen if I tasted it on my tongue? Fuck yeah, I do. I will never forget that. That is something I know. When I see somebody take a drink, I literally can feel that on my tongue, and I can feel all the mechanisms in my brain go right back to that shit desire. That I can still feel that process. Wow. I can feel it because.
Dude, I get sick to my stomach if I see people drink, it don't bother me. But if I ever think about taking a drink, like where it says we recoil, and when part of you read we recoil as if from a hot flame, it just more than a desire to have it. Like when you spit your chew out, it's like just makes me sick.
Right. Let me preference that. When I see my wife or somebody at dinner or something have a drink, I don't get that feeling. Right. When I see somebody that I feel has a problem of our type, that's when I get that feeling.
Well, because you can see it, that ease and comfort that comes over them. They take that drink, that warmth of that, their body makes that sound.
That's when that feeling or when I look at a bottle across the room and I remember that taste, and then instantly that those mechanisms in my brain go, yeah, but remember this and remember this, and this is how it'll taste. This is
playing the tape. Playing the video.
This is how your belly will feel. This is how your chest will feel. These
are the consequences that'll come from that one drink.
Yeah,
I'm good. Yeah. We never had that power. That's the power that we didn't have.
Probably can handle
the first drink. God gives us that power.
Probably can handle it. But I ain't going to try it.
I ain't even going to remote.
Oh, I wouldn't even say that. There's no way. Because I'll finish that bottle. I'll go get a bag.
Right. Oh, yeah. It'd be over.
Anybody want to go fishing?
Dude, I'd be looking for a ride. I would be looking for a ride.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It just,
Let's go.
yeah, that's just the not where I wanted to go. Or that's just not where I want to go.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's when I say the alcoholic of my type, or when I know that I have that tasted on my tongue. And I was actually just explaining that to Katie the other day. You know, I just know if I tasted that on my tongue.
I want to answer Kim's question here, just at the book, so that way you know it's not our opinion.
Well, for that, it's a pamphlet because it's ripped.
It's ripped. Hey, but you know what they say? A big book that's falling apart usually belongs to somebody who isn't.
Yeah. Well
So,
said.
at a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into this state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is absolutely no avail. This tragic situation has already arrived in practically every case long before it is suspected. The fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, have lost the power of choice in drink. Our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. We are unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. We are without defense against the first drink. That's what the steps provide for us and God. That's what God provides for us through these steps in this way of life. The power now, I don't have to take that. The obsession is gone.
Yeah.
I can leave it alone. That is, and like when Jason shared his stories, you think, man, if I had done that, I wouldn't have, but the week or even the humiliation and of even a week or a month ago, we don't remember. It's not strong enough.
Right.
We take that drink, the obsession, the phenomenon of craving takes over.
Right.
Then you're dancing with the gorilla.
Right.
And you're going to stop dancing when the gorilla says we stop.
Right. Yeah. At that wedding last weekend, watching everybody dance and having a good time, I'm like, even that didn't even look, the dancing. If I'd have had 2 or 3 of those drinks, I'd have been out in the middle of the dance floor with them. Right. But that fun would have went to years of misery. Right. Years of misery just to have that moment of fun. And that's why I think it's so hard for me when I talk to people that go back out, right? They're going to go back out and experiment a little bit more. And it's like, what the fuck do you think is going to be different now than it was last time?
But again, that's you're trying to talk to us before we got here. And why?
But okay, but I'm going to disagree with that.
But
Rob.
Because they went back out,
right? I'm going to disagree with that. Because
are you talking about a person who's worked the steps, had a spiritual awakening, and then didn't keep practicing, and then went back out?
I don't, I can't speak for them. And I don't. I'm going to be real careful how I say this because I know what your response is. I'm not scared of being of drinking again. I'm not scared of that, right? What I'm scared of is, I don't know how to say that.
Let's get some faith working on that.
Hold on, turned you back on.
Let's get some faith working on that fear problem.
Well, it's not.
So what are you trying to say?
No, not that I'm a fear. There's no fear of me ever drinking again, right? I don't have that fear. What I think is there is, let's just say, God forbid it did happen. Am I going to have the strength to come back?
You got complacent.
Right.
No, well, do I? I know I have another drink in me. I do not believe I have another.
Well,
recovery.
and you say that, and I
don't believe I do.
I think that's the point I'm getting at, right? I don't know if I would go through that again, right?
It's easier to stay sober than to get sober,
right.
But I know where I was. It's like Jason's story. I know where I was at the end.
Right.
My body was not processing alcohol at that time. I was done. It was shutting down. It's progressive. I don't have another recovery.
Yeah, and that's my point where I was getting at. I know that this sobriety, what I have now, would never come back again. I just have that feeling in me.
I agree with you 100%.
If I go out, if I do it again, it's going to require me packing a bag, kissing my family goodbye, turning over my company truck keys, taking away everything signing everything over to Katie, getting everything out of my name, and then saying, it's been fun, but I'm going to go finish this because there's no way I'm coming back to this again.
Yeah, that's that feeling of getting out of society, balling up and finding a hole in darkness.
Yeah. I just know I won't.
What you'd be going back to.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Knowing what I was in, wanting to go back, and it says it in the Bible. Why does a dog want to go back and look up his own puke, right? I'm sure you can put that into context. Mm-hmm. But when you see that happening, and
as the dog goes back to his vomit,
right?
So
when I see people in our program do that, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's frustrating to me, and my empathy only goes so
because
far.
There's no joy in their sober life right now.
Right.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. You had mentioned that, these people are out there dancing, they're having a good time. You got to find that in just daily life, and not through drinking.
Right.
Absolutely. Just like the clip that you played, that you said reminded you of Jason Allen, the guy, not Jason Ryan, but Jason Allen. Remember, you played it last week.
Right.
Where he said the reason people go out basically is because they are not happy in their sober life. They're not content. That's it. And why didn't they stay that way? Did they not stay spiritually fit? Right. Of course they didn't. There's usually the big three, but that's it. The reason we're sober, because if I'm going to be miserable, I'm going to go drink. I was miserable then. At least I got some peace from the bottom of a bottle. But if I'm not going to be miserable, it's writing.
What did I say? What did I say last week when I was sitting over there like a lump on a log while my wife was over there having a good time, right? I knew that I had to get out of that comfort zone, or I was just going to be that dry drunk just sitting there. I had to get up and go over there. Otherwise, I was just...
Good for you.
I might as well just go drink. If I'm just going to sit there and be a dry, I was not being a part of society whatsoever, right? I was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And for us to be joyful in our sobriety, we have to go join. Absolutely. We have to go do. They're having a big, the Oakdale Fellowship is having a prom night on next October 12th. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think I asked a few guys, I said, who's going to that? I don't know. But I mean, that's getting outside your comfort zone, doing stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Is that for me? I don't know. But I mean, for a lot of people, they enjoy doing that. Yeah. You know, I don't know. But even every day I have to look at, why am I not doing that? Is it because I don't need to be doing it, or am I not comfortable doing it? If I'm not comfortable doing it, then that ain't the answer to why I'm not doing it.
But there's always a balance too. There's a balance between do not let the life that AA provided you get in the way of your AA life.
Right.
There's a balance. Someday it may be 5 meetings a week. Sometimes it's only 2. Yeah. But you have to find a balance within what you're going through.
Also, don't be so hard on yourself.
Exactly.
Rule 62, baby.
How many years did you rely on alcohol for your fun? And so we're just now really starting to learn how to do things and accept it, that they are fun with alcohol.
Right.
And many firsts, right? Many firsts.
Many
firsts.
firsts.
He uses that a lot. I love it. Yeah.
Many firsts.
Yeah. The first Christmases and the first New Year's and the first 4th of July.
The first time bowling, the first time golfing, the first time fishing, first time hunting.
There's a lot of first times. You know, they tried it. What cracked me up was when I was in recovery, they wanted me to barbecue the last day. They were like, that was like 2 or 3 days before the last day. We want you to barbecue. I'm like, why do you want me to barbecue? Well, we just want you to feel what it's like to barbecue. I'm like, we want you to feel what it's like not standing around with a beer in your hand. I'm like, okay. I mean, by this time, remember, the desire to drink was gone from me. I mean, I'll do their steps, whatever they want me to do. Like I said, I'd count cars at that point. So what was so funny is they bring out these completely cooked hamburgers. They did. They brought out these completely cooked hamburgers and handed them to me and told me to barbecue them. I'm looking at them like, they're fucking cooked already. We just want you to put them on there and see. I'm like, this is fucking retarded. I mean, just those simple things like that, you know, that was the first thing. And,
but how many men have sat there in the barbecues with that's their, with the beer in their hand? And
I understand now. Now what they were trying to do. Is that first they were just wanting me to stand around a barbecue.
And then it is possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, I want to play one more thing. And this may not go anywhere, but this one is, we talked about this a little bit last week. And I saw this after I read this. I saw this after.
One can get sober for their jobs, for their wife, for their kids. They can't do it for any of that. They can only do it when they decide they're done.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
That's hard.
I mean, it's kind of radical to think about. You know what I mean? And you think, well, God, I love them so much. Why can't they do it for me? Or they're going to lose their job. Don't they understand? Until that light goes on, there's honestly not much you can do. The thing is, when the light goes on, there is hope. When the light goes on, there's definitely a great life beyond it.
That's what I was talking about earlier when my light came on, right? And that's when you said when you saw Kim standing in that doorway, that was yours, bam, right? That's when it came on. You know what? We were talking about it. Brad says it very well, and I like the way Brad says it, and I think Doug says it too, is it doesn't, so what got him into the room, right, is he wanted to get Grace back, right? He was fighting.
It's different than what keeps him in the room today.
Thank you. That's what I was going after. What got Brad in the room is not what keeps him in the rooms today. And I think so many people, if they understand that, what got me sober, when my click was 100%. I knew I was a piece of shit, right? I 100% knew I was a piece of shit, and I wanted that gone, right? It wasn't that Katie left me. It wasn't that anything like that. I knew I was a grade A piece of shit, and I didn't like myself anymore. And that was a brutal, brutal awakening for me. And so that's what got me sober. It was for me from the very beginning.
But we got to be careful, because sometimes, and you hear it in the rooms, not necessarily even old timers. If you're not here for you, well, you're not, then you're not getting these. And there's people who just maybe the first or second day, their wife did leave them, and they're like, man, I want to get her back, so I'm going to take this action.
Right.
And you hear some old prick saying, "Hey, well, if you're not here for you, you're not going to get sober. Go fuck yourself."
But
that's what I want to tell the newcomer.
Right.
What brings you to the rooms? I don't give a shit what it is.
Right.
Get here.
Right.
What's going to keep you here, though, is going to take depth and weight.
Right.
And it's probably not going to be that initial once you start working. But I don't give a shit how you get here. And I don't like when people say that.
No, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Rob. I used to be against that, what you're saying. But
you're growing.
I used to say that. Well, you stop fucking saying that. You need to grow, fucker.
5'7" is tall enough. Shut the fuck up.
But now the more, especially when I heard Brad say that, it's not what got you in the room, it's what keeps you into the room, right? And Katie, God love her, tried to get me into the rooms in the very beginning. She tried to get it online, but I wasn't listening to her, and I didn't have the people. So the people that came to AA that came through, like Doug come through the hotline, you came through your way. I mean, people that come through that way. I came through a spin drive, that what they call it, right?
Maynard's.
Rob and I came through the spin drive. That's where I feel like I had to go, because I didn't know anything else. Do I think if somebody, and I say this all the time, if Katie would have had a friend like a Kim that said, "Hey, my husband did it this way. Do you want my husband to come over and talk to Larry?" I probably would have been open. My nerves,
Jason.
Yeah, my nerves were so open and raw at that point. My last day, that last drunk that I had, I was so, what do you call it? You said it,
pitiful and incomprehensible.
Yeah, I was just so,
ready.
My state of depression was just there.
Sick and tired of being.
I was just
there.
And nothing I was doing was working anymore, right? Everything I was trying to do was not working anymore. My depression was getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So, I mean, that's what got me into the rooms. But I think where I want to end this topic is, we talked about complacency, and that's us being in here. But from the very beginning, I say this, if you have somebody, your loved ones, you have somebody that is, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, if you know somebody, there is a ton of us people around. If you're in an outside area away from us, you don't know where to go, email us, call somebody, call your AA hotline, but email Rob and I, or it's recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. It's recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. I want to make sure that if you are listening to this and you don't know what to do, you have that person that needs to speak to somebody. We will find you somebody. I don't care what state you're in.
I got wheels, baby. I'll drive.
Yeah. We have arms that reach deep, right? We have people at anywhere, anytime that will reach out. And that is just the most, for all the wives that are out there that are watching their husbands, and the husbands that are out there watching their wives, don't reach out, man. They may not be listening to you anymore, but they may listen to somebody else. Give somebody else a chance to come into your home. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody on the outside.
And there are no guarantees, but reach out. And I want to say this on the topic of complacency, and Larry talks about being alcoholics of our type, which the three of us are identical almost. If you are an alcoholic of my type and you come in, you work this way of life, this program to the best of your ability, I promise you'll get exactly what you deserve.
Right.
If you're an alcoholic of my type and you don't work this program to the best of your ability, I promise you, you will get exactly what you deserve.
Right.
So the choice is yours, and it is a choice.
Right.
It is a choice. And the answers are out there. The help is out there. The love is out there. The power is God. It's available.
Right. Jason, you've been awesome.
Thank you.
As always, brother. I always love. It's great seeing you, by the way. You look good. You look good, man.
He's lost down 30 pounds. Look at this.
No, you look
slim
way
and trim. He's ready to go. Kim is also kicking ass. I mean, you guys.
2 months since we went camping.
Dude, it was July.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Jesus, fart.
Yeah.
You look healthy. You look really good.
Any final words, Jason, Kim, anything? I thank you guys for coming on.
Right.
Thanks for having us.
This was awesome.
Yeah. This is so I get very emotional when I talk about people needing the help and not reaching out, feeling like you're bigger, that your family, that you don't want to embarrass the family, or don't want to embarrass. Listen, if he runs into a telephone pole and kills a bunch of people, it's going to be a hell of a lot more embarrassing than if you just fucking pick up a phone, or there's just a lot more things more embarrassing in life than your husband or your wife or your son or somebody being an alcoholic and reaching out for help. If you yourself are struggling, stop being a pussy and reach out for fucking help. It takes way more of a man to reach out for help.
Oh, it takes guts.
Yeah, way more of a man than sit there and swallow this shit, because I've met more true men in the walls of AA than I ever met on the outside of AA.
The reward is there.
It's incredible.
Isn't it though? Isn't it? Can you imagine? I couldn't imagine for a second going back. That's when me and Larry talk about that, because words matter. I'm being very intentional about my words. Right. I've never had a bad day in alcohol, in sobriety. Right. I've had a lot of hard days. Right. Jason coming over, rebuilding my bathroom for me as I'm getting ready to go through cancer treatment, the things that we do for each other.
Right. That's the key thing to that is,
we still haven't got to pay back the kindness that he showed me,
Jason works away from home all week long. So he's separated, and he, just like me, he has it every week, to where he could have as much alcohol as he wanted over there with him, and his home life would never ever have,
or as much joy and peace of mind as he wanted to, which is what he just chooses.
Right. And he's stopped doing our AA meetings with us, or not an AA meeting, our Monday night group meeting with us. And he's gotten involved in a local AA meeting over there. And it's way more conducive to you for doing it that way. Right, Jay?
Yeah. So hands down, it's, you said it earlier, it's a little bit tough doing it the way we do it, only because the group has gotten so big, and I don't want to be a damper on that, so there's fellowships down there. It's a big group. It's a solid group. There's a lot of old timers. So, it's easy. They're welcoming, just like every other group that I've ever been a part of. Right. So, yeah.
Kim, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks
You're
for
awesome.
Having us.
You know what? I loved how she kept asking questions about the AA book.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Katie asks questions, but the thing is with Katie is she's a lot like me. She digs into this book. I'll be talking about it and she'll answer the question somewhere, and I'm like, she's been reading it somewhere, right? She stays on top of this. She knows that she loves going to AA meetings. I mean, you just like, Grace said it and you said it. I mean, going to the meetings is a big eye opener. So anyways, we're going to get out of here. Jason, Kim, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today.
We hope you learned something today that will help you.
If you did not, come back next week and we'll try again.
If you like what we heard, give us a 5-star review. If you don't like what you heard, kiss my... You can't say that, can you? Anyway, if you don't like what you heard, go ahead and tell us that too. We'll see what we can improve. We probably won't change nothing, but do it anyway.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Come back next week and hopefully something will be different and something will sink in. Take care.
This has been Recovery Unfiltered.